Bubbles. Hop, hop, Mr. B. No time to waste. Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpoke.
Watch out! For certain, their harvesting will draw the attention of this flight.
It was a pretty angel, Mr. B. Hurry, Mr. B. I can see Time and go! Mr. B. I can see angels dancing in the sky. Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles! Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
We all have those.
Time to go, Mr. B. Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles! Hurry, Mr. B. Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Never spliced up once the whole time I was down here in this aquarium. Figured it was bad to mix business with pleasure, but... Forget all the nose candy and floor polish I've been wasting time with. This stuff is the mother's milk!
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Hurry! The harvesting will draw the attention of this flight.
This angel looks dancing. Hurry, Mr. B. I can see
How's that?
Child! It looks sad, Mr. P.
What?
Hop, hop,
Listen to
Mr.
your
B.
doctor! I see.
Time to go, Mr. B. This angel looks dancing. It looks sad.
Find a vent and summon another little one. better for the girls to be with you. Better with you than alone. Alone in the crawling darkness. Only the little ones can open these doors. You must protect them.
plenty for the working scrubs and the pencil pushers. But I need more. More! I want to splice till there ain't nothing left to splice with!
Ryan reminds us we all have purpose, but in the end,
Fontaine is nearby.
choices
You are reaching close.
Welcome to the circus of value.
There. You must use the needle of the little sister to drain Fontaine of his atoms. It is the only way to defeat him.
Stick it in the bad man!
The illusion of choice is a thinly veiled dynamic that drives many single-player gaming experiences.
What are you waiting for? Pick up the needle!
Fontaine waits above. There will be no going back from here. Make sure you are ready to face him before moving on.
I remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub. You were no more than 2. You were my ace in the hole, but you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Go! Go now! Hit him with the needle!
Come on now, kid. You want to get serious? Come at
remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub? You were no more than 2. You were my ace in the hole, but you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Life is truly business.
Good money for you. And this is what I get? Catch my breath. And I'm gonna bury you and all their legs. outside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I know what it is. And now,
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live. And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock, Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, Ken, they wondered, how did you even dream up this place? And I know you said publicly before that part of the reason you what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you had with other games where you sort of hit a bound.
I think our philosophy was always to do what we were doing 100% rather than try to do something bigger and do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, and this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So we were able to really make a place, I think, that felt believable and real, even though in actuality it was really quite limited. But we just sort of dressed it with all these buildings outside that were all, were all basically glorified fakes. We let the story drive what we needed to show rather than some kind of like predetermined map which we set down, which is a little different than like System Shock 2, where we actually mapped a spaceship out deck by deck. Yeah. Because I don't know what the philosophy felt a little different there, because you want to feel like a real spaceship that was sort of stacked on top of each other. But Rapture was free to sprawl across the ocean floor. Although you guys originally, Sean, were talking about doing this game on a sort of spaceship again, right?
Yeah, when we first started talking about what the spiritual successor to System Shock 2 was going to be, Spaceship came up, but again, we wanted a limited environment, and we didn't necessarily want to do Spaceship again. And our first actual exploration of this space was underwater, but ultimately ended up looking like a spaceship. It just happened to have a couple of seaweed fronds outside. And that started to push us towards what artistic statement that we wanted to make this look different, and what rules we were going to set for the world. How at every turn we were going to try to remind the player that they were in fact underwater and that this wasn't a spaceship.
And how, like, underwater, we obviously know you did underwater, then sitting in the sky, like where did you come with the idea of like doing this underwater? I think there was probably a conversation. It's like, well, what kind of places could be cut off from other places? Yeah. Like, well, spaceship, summer camp, any island notion, right? Something that's cut off from the rest of the world. Yeah. So you never felt like you should be able to go over that bridge to New Jersey.
I don't want to apply some deep and meaningful conversation. I think it was one of those ideas that you just kind of say, and then everybody's, that sounds cool, let's try that. Let's go for it. And
I think it lended itself to having very nice views out the window without having to build an insane amount of unique assets.
Right. By today's standards, we still were a small team back then. And there's an expectation that because you're underwater, the view distances are going to be short, so you can really kind of fade out into the fog at a short distance.
One of the biggest challenges Irrational faced when developing Bioshock was figuring out a way to retain the feeling of a deep RPG while making the game accessible to a broader console audience. Ultimately, the team succeeded in creating an intricate system of weapon and character upgrades that gave the player choice and customization while keeping the gameplay fast, lean, and engaging. Nailing the perfect marriage of story to gameplay is a science that many developers still struggle with today. Bioshock has left an indelible mark on gaming narrative that can be seen and felt in many modern releases, but Irrational's motto remained from the beginning: don't start with the story, start with the gameplay. From the moment you boot up Bioshock, you can feel the story grab hold of you. A plane crashes at sea, a mysterious lighthouse, a sprawling city beneath the ocean. Hooking the player from the first touch without overwhelming him with convoluted RPG mechanics was key to the success of the game and the skillful ramping up of Bioshock's legendary gameplay. Rapture is overflowing with memorable locations and set pieces. In developing a world that feels organic, lived in, and functional, Irrational managed to create a space that feels perfectly suited to the story and action that takes place in it, which begs a question: did the plot shape the location, or did the plot fit squarely into a world that was already established?
iconic and haunting, the Big Daddy and Little Sisters of Bioshock immediately captivated the public's imagination. Big Daddy encounters defined the Bioshock experience, creating new mechanics and techniques that had not been seen before in gaming. To kill, to harvest or not to harvest, the moral dilemma that follows you throughout the Bioshock experience and defines the fate of the player. This choice lays at the center of your Bioshock story and has repercussions that can be felt in nearly every facet of the gameplay. The illusion of choice is a thinly veiled dynamic that drives many single-player gaming experiences. And while many developers spend a lot of time trying to convince players that choice is real and authentic in their games, the truth more often is that choice is a superficial concept in gaming narrative. Bioshock confronted this idea head-on, searing into our minds a innocuous 3-word phrase with an unforgettable new meaning. Would you kindly?
Don't be a slow poke, Mr. B. Angels. Look! Look! Look!
I'm not afraid to fight! unacceptable. The little ones are free. Don't like them with that filthy.
I think the bad man is gone, Mr. B.
Bienvenido al amor bonito. Loading. Hero, bienvenido al bandido de munición.
I wish I had some jellies.
Welcome to the circus of value.
Father, why have you forsaken me? I wore it for you, Father. You like these assholes, Dad? Wear it. So Brian.
You call that tenderloin? If you serve that in any respectable hotel in New York, they'd laugh you out of town.
It's not too late. I'll get to it.